So what's the story with the brand new updated Purple Rejuvenate? We're going to talk about that and so much more in today's video. Hey, how's it going? This is Owen, I'm a CNET, and today we're talking about the newly updated Purple Rejuvenate mattress. This is quite a bit different than the old model we tested a few years ago, and this might be my new favorite mattress of the hundreds of beds that I've tested. It's that good. We're going to cover pretty much everything you need to know about it. Make sure you look down below in the description. We should have a full written review and any discounts we can find. Unfortunately, this bed is quite expensive. That's really the only negative I have for this mattress. And if you are interested in it, you're going to want to check down there to help save you some money. If you find this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. And let's just dive right into the number one thing you should know about the Purple Rejuvenate mattress, and that's how it's different from the old model. So Purple's had this mattress in the works for quite a while. We were actually able to speak with some of the designers at Purple about their design philosophy for this new mattress. We did really enjoy their old Luxe lineup. They had the base model Rejuvenate, the Rejuvenate Plus, and the Rejuvenate Premier. We liked those beds a lot. We didn't really have anything negative to say about them, aside from the price point. But they didn't really have that signature purple feel. On the old Rejuvenates, you had the signature purple grid that's found in all the Purple beds kind of low in the mattress construction. So you had the purple grid, and then you had a few different layers of foam. And you got some of the benefits of the grid, namely the airflow, but you didn't get that signature purple feel. On the new Rejuvenate, they essentially have a miniature version of the purple grid that's right on top, and then you have some foam, and then you have a thicker layer of the purple grid. The thinner purple grid combined with the foam below give it that signature purple feel, but without it necessarily feeling overwhelming. One thing we've noticed with Purple mattresses in the past is that some people find it too different and a little bit too off-putting because it's so unlike anything I've ever tried. But on this bed, it strikes a perfect balance in my opinion. Everyone in our office who's tried out this mattress agrees that it's one of the most comfortable things they've ever tried, and we've had hundreds of beds come through here. I think if you try it, you will like it. I have a hard time imagining someone picking up the Purple Rejuvenate and finding it just not for them. I think it's insanely comfortable, and Purple really knocked it out of the park here. The second thing that's different from this new Purple Rejuvenate versus the old lineup is that there's only two so far. They have the base model Rejuvenate, the one that we tested, and the Rejuvenate Plus. In the previous models, they had those two beds plus the Rejuvenate Premier, and as of right now, there's no Rejuvenate Premier. I think they just wanted to streamline the lineup, so you have the base model Rejuvenate that's a little bit firmer. We have it at around a medium firm, like a 6 to 7.5 out of 10. I think it's gonna be very accommodating, but if you want something even softer with more pressure relief, then you have the Rejuvenate Plus that features a bit more purple grid. And then a third way that this bed is different from the previous models is that it has a bit of an active cooling cover, which we haven't really seen from Purple. Purple beds are very good at regulating temperature because of the natural airflow from the Gel Flex grid material and the fact that this material doesn't really retain heat all that much. So you wind up with a very nice temperature neutral experience on pretty much all the Purple beds. I slept on an older model of Purple for about 5 years. I found that bed would not really heat up on me at night, but it also wouldn't necessarily be actively cooling me down either. The cover on the new Purple Rejuvenate is a bit cool to the touch. It's not quite as cold as, say, the Aurora Luxe, but I think you will notice it, and it will make it an even better option for hot sleepers. Then the fourth thing I want to cover with this mattress is going to be how it performs for couples, namely edge support and motion isolation. The edge support on this thing is rock solid. Put all my weight on the edge of the mattress, didn't feel at all like I was going to roll off the mattress, so you're going to be set there. The motion isolation is also very, very good, especially for a hybrid bed that features a more responsive material. In general, beds like this tend to perform sort of in the middle and not perform as well as a memory foam bed like I sleep on now. But somehow the way they designed that top layer with the very thin Gel Flex grid and the foam underneath does an amazing job at isolating cross mattress motion. I think if you're a light sleeper, you should still probably be fine on this bed, even though it is a more bouncy hybrid, which isn't something we typically see. And then the fifth and final thing I want to talk about with the Rejuvenate mattress is going to be price. I mentioned this early in the video. The price is going to be hard to get around. You're looking at about $5 grand for a queen size base model Rejuvenate, and then $6 grand for a Rejuvenate Plus. So these are among the most expensive beds you've ever tested. There's only a couple that sort of match, including the Tempur Luxe Breeze mattresses and the previous models of the Purple Rejuvenate. Now, I can't definitively say one way or the other whether the price point is going to be worth it for any given person. What I can say is that I have tested hundreds of beds, and I think the base model Rejuvenate is my favorite, hands down. The comfort level is just incredible. I haven't really tried any other mattress that I think matches this in terms of comfort. It performs well in every category in terms of temperature regulation, edge support, and motion isolation. It's just really hard to get around that price point. However, if you look down below in the description, you should be able to save some money on it. As I'm recording this video, the price is knocked down by $500. And if you bundle in an adjustable base, you might be able to save even more money, but it's gonna cost more. You gotta spend the most to save the most with Purple. And that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. And as far as my final thoughts goes, I think the Purple Rejuvenate is incredible. Purple really knocked it out of the park with this design. They managed to bring in more of that signature Purple feel without, making it just like their Restore models. And if you have the budget for this bed, I can't really recommend it enough. I think it's incredible. I think there's gonna be sort of a fight at the office about who might get to take it home and I really sleep on it for a couple of months. But that price point is going to be really hard for a lot of people, and it's just not going to fit a lot of people's budget, which I completely understand. It's a very expensive mattress, but I think Purple really crushed this design, and this is probably my new favorite mattress. But let us know what you think. Would you shell out that much money for a mattress? Let us know, and make sure you look down below in the description for any kind of discounts we can find to help bring the price down and a full written review. If you found this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. But that's going to do it for me. This is Owen CNET. I'll see you in the next one.